Okay, let's talk about one of the most intimidating parts of any tech interview, the system design question. We're going to break it all down and give you a solid framework so you can walk in there and absolutely nail it.
So you're in the interview, and then it happens. They look at you and say, design YouTube. It's this massive, open-ended question that's just meant to see how you think on your feet. It can feel like an impossible task, right? Well, it's really not. The absolute first thing to do is take a breath. Don't panic. See, they're not looking for some secret, perfect answer they have hidden away. What they're really looking for is to see if you have a structured way of thinking, a framework for tackling a huge problem.
Before you even think about drawing a diagram, you have to get your head around the scale of the problem. Seriously, the sheer size of a platform like YouTube is going to influence every single decision you make from here on out. And just to give you an idea of that scale, we're talking about over 2 billion monthly active users. 2 billion. Keeping that number in your mind from the very start is probably the most important thing you can do to get on the right track.
All right, so here's step one of our framework. And honestly, it's the most crucial. You have to ask questions. You have to narrow the scope. Whatever you do, don't just start designing based on what you think they want. Your job is to take this giant, fuzzy problem and turn it into something specific and solvable.
So a perfect first question is about the core features. You can't possibly design YouTube's entire platform in 45 minutes. The comments, the ads, the live streaming, it's just too much. So you ask something like, okay, great question. What are the most critical features we should probably focus on for our design today? And then you'll likely get a response like this. The interviewer helps you narrow it down to the essentials. Perfect. Now you have a clear mission. Design a system that lets people upload videos and watch videos. That's it. Suddenly, it feels manageable.
Okay, next up, you need to get some numbers. You're not designing for 2 billion people all hitting the site at the exact same second. So a great follow-up question is about daily active users. This is going to help you figure out things like traffic estimates, storage needs, all that good stuff. And boom, the interviewer gives you a number. Let's say 5 million daily active users. Fantastic. Now you've got a concrete target you can actually design for. You can start doing some quick back-of-the-envelope math to estimate your needs. Now that you've got the requirements locked down, it's time to start sketching out the big picture. Think of this as the 30,000-foot view. We're not worried about the nitty-gritty details yet. We just want to identify the main building blocks and how they talk to each other. And really, at this high level, it boils down to 3 key parts. You've got the client. That's just what the user sees, like the website or the app. Then a CDN, or content delivery network, which is basically a global network of servers that get video files to users super fast. And finally, you have your API servers. These are kind of the brains of the operation, handling user data, video titles, all the stuff that isn't the video itself. Okay, let's trace the journey of a video upload, because this is really clever. The user hits upload, and the video file and its title and description all get sent up. The raw video gets dumped into some big storage bucket. Then, in the background, these powerful transcoding servers get to work, creating all the different versions, 1080p, 720p, 480p, you name it. Only when that whole process is done are the videos pushed out to the CDN, and the database gets updated to say, hey, this video is ready to watch. Now, watching a video? That's a totally different beast, optimized for pure speed. When you click play, your phone or computer makes a quick call to an API server to get the video's info. But the actual video, the heavy file, doesn't come from those main servers. Nope, it streams directly from a CDN server that's physically close to you. That's the secret sauce for preventing all that annoying buffering. So, you've laid out your grand plan. The interviewer is nodding along. Now comes the part where you really get to show off your technical chops. They'll pick a piece of your puzzle and ask you to deep dive on it. This is your moment to really shine. A super common area for a deep dive in the scenario is video transcoding. It sounds complicated, but it's really just the workhorse process that takes the one video file you upload and turns it into a whole family of files, different sizes, different qualities, so it can play perfectly on any screen over any internet connection. And why bother with all this? Well, it's absolutely critical for a few reasons. 1, it means the video will play on your old iPhone just as well as on a brand new smart TV. 2, it's what allows that adaptive streaming, where the quality adjusts automatically if your Wi-Fi gets a little shaky. And 3, it makes the video files way smaller, which saves the company an absolute fortune in storage costs. Now, if you want to score some major bonus points, you can even start posing your own deep dive challenges. For instance,
You could say, another tricky part of this is the upload process itself. How can we make sure it's fast and secure when millions of people are trying to upload at the same time? And that opens the door for you to talk about some really advanced solutions. You could talk about chopping big video files into smaller chunks so they can be uploaded at the same time. You could mention using the CDN not just for watching videos, but for uploading them too, so the user is sending their file to a server nearby. And for security, you can bring up things like pre-signed URLs, which is a neat trick to give a user temporary, super secure permission to upload directly to your storage. Okay, you're in the home stretch. You've laid out the requirements, you've sketched a solid architecture, and you've shown you know your stuff in a deep dive. The last part of the interview is all about wrapping it up and showing the interviewer that you're thinking about the big picture and the future. So, how do you stick the landing? You can briefly mention things you'd consider next. Maybe you'd talk about database sharding to handle even more growth. You could bring up the importance of error handling, like what happens if a video fails to transcode. And you can even show you're thinking ahead by acknowledging other features like live streaming and how your design might need to adopt for them. But here's the thing. The perfect textbook design that you talk about in an interview isn't always what gets built in the real world. Real-world engineering is messy. It's full of trade-offs and legacy decisions that make things way more interesting.
And that kind of leaves us with this final, fascinating question. If you were designing YouTube today, you'd probably reach for a shiny, modern, NoSQL database built for this kind of scale. But the actual YouTube, it was famously built on good old MySQL, a traditional database. They had to perform incredible engineering feats just to make it work. So maybe the ultimate question isn't just what's the right answer, but what's the right solution for right now and how do you evolve it? That's the kind of thinking that really cracks the system design interview.